everybody doing? Welcome to episode 4. Episode 4 already, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, well.
it's good stuff. How
Yeah.
you doing? I'm the Wild Man.
DJ Tiano. Yeah, January 7th.
Yeah.
It's late night evening. We had a couple setbacks this week, but finally we were sitting down to doing this, and I don't think I would have it any other way at this point. I will find time to do this. I will make time doing this. I enjoy doing this. Sometimes life gets in the way, but we will get to it.
We will
every
overcome.
Week. We will get
persevere.
to it every week. Yeah. And that kind of goes hand in hand with today's episode, staying motivated. Yeah, staying motivated. But first, let's get the quote.
Not get ahead.
Let's
yes,
get
that's
the
right.
quote out of the way from last week.
Let's not jump.
All right.
We're excited.
Last week's quote was, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you'll find strength." Elaborate, wild man.
Ooh. Well, I took that, DJ, from just as you control what's in here and how you think of things, how you attack an obstacle. Stop trying to control what's outside. You have no control on it. You can't, there's nothing you can do there. You can control how you react and how you view, okay, I got this, your plan to do something.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically, I mean, in a nutshell, not to beat a dead bush, that's, for me, that's what I got out of it.
I mean, a lot of these quotes are pretty much straight to the point to begin with, but sometimes there's, metaphors there. You can turn them into metaphors, but a lot of times, like you said, this one's kind of straight to the point.
Yeah.
You can't control what goes on around you. You can control what you have around you, but you can't control the actual events. You can't control other people's interactions with you.
Indeed.
You can't control their actions. However, you can control your own actions. But once you figure out that you can't control everything, and you stay that one-track mind, you realize the only thing you really have control over is your mind, your actions, your reactions, and so forth. So, yeah, that was the quote of last week. We're going to transition right into staying motivated, drive, how to keep drive while reaching your goals, while obtaining your goals and staying motivated within that time period. Because, quite frankly, sometimes people do what they want to do. They were motivated enough to get to point A, but then it gets stale. Something, maybe they reached a plateau. Things got stale.
I hate those
Don't you
plateaus.
hate that? Those glass,
especially with working out, and you get to that thing,
you can't bust through them. Yeah, I mean, working out is a big, kind of, a great example of it. How many people have begun to work out in their lifetimes, 3, 4, or 5 times throughout their whole entire life, and never stuck with it because they weren't getting the results they wanted, or
that's because they lose that patience.
Or they got bored.
Yeah, got to change it up.
But I think the number one thing with staying motivated is aiming towards the passion, your passions. I mean, if you're not passionate about something, then how are you supposed to stay motivated? If you're going to this job, every day of the week and you're just sick and tired of it, and you kick rocks every time you head out, you're just kicking stones on the way out to the car, like, oh man, I gotta go to the shit job again today. Your motivation is already decreased. Your motivation, you get in, you bitch about everything that happened last week or the month before, or to another employee, or how the boss is doing things. Staying motivated, goes back to our last episode.
That mindset.
The mindset.
You gotta have it.
You can't let things get in your way, and you just got to keep pushing. Just keep pushing, keep passionate.
I find, and I'm sure a lot of other people do, that they would say, oh, you lose motivation, but you got to keep the discipline. I say no, in my opinion. You don't lose motivation. When you start to come up to, it gets a little difficult, you're starting to run, and you see you're not really making the progress you want. You just think back, all right, why am I doing this? Is it to get, if you're working out, is it to get healthy? All right, let's change it up. You want better money, time with your family. What do I got to do to make more money so I can spend time with my family? You got to remember, have you ever seen that quote where it's usually somebody working out. I was thinking about giving up, but then I remembered who was watching.
Well, I take that quote, so I think of children.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give up for my children's sake. I don't want them to see me give up and show them that that's even an option.
Exactly.
Too many people get caught up in that rabbit hole of negativity. They see that other people will tell you, oh, you're not going to reach that goal, or they might not say it straight out. They might not come straight forward and tell you that, but you can get that vibe where
they hit you with the negative. Oh, this could happen. This could happen.
What about this? Or aren't you worried about this? Or shouldn't you be worried about this and not that? Other people's negativity usually shuts down other people's motivation. Imagine all the ideas throughout history that people came up with that probably never made it, to the surface because other people shunned it, and their motivation was killed, their drive was killed, and that was it. The idea never made it. Someone else patented it, got rich off their idea. I mean,
what's that saying? They say I found the quickest way to kill $1 million idea is tell it to a $10 an hour person.
Yeah.
That's it. You want to do that? Just tell it to somebody. What's the other one? You can't have $1 million mindset and have a $1 work ethic.
Absolutely.
It's
yeah. So, staying with the subject, you can also go the route. People without money are usually the ones that tend to say, "Hey, I don't need money," because they don't have it. They, obviously we're all out for money, but
they get complacent.
Certain people are humble about the money that they have, and they don't let it change them. Some people, money changes them. It changes their whole character to others.
Yes, head gets bigger.
Yeah, head gets bigger. Ego usually.
Oh yeah.
The more money you make, the less friends you have now because you had to shit on everybody to get there.
Not everyone. Not everyone.
No, I'm just saying these are some of the, going over what we were talking about. But yeah, do not fall down that rabbit hole of negativity. Do not let others dictate your success story. That is huge.
That goes right with that quote that we just read.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you're seeing that, you try to control that and you feed into that negativity.
Yeah.
No.
I like to say, put on the noise. It's a metaphor. Put on your noise canceling headphones. Block out that negative vibe. If someone's wasting the air to say it to you, and you're able to adjust and say, hey, this person's just trying to bring me down because they're complacent. They're content with where they are, and to step outside of their comfort zone is too much for them. So to see someone else do it, they want to bring you down to their level to make themselves feel better. And it's just not the way to go, man. Bashing, hindering ideas.
It's not. At the same time, like they say, misery loves company, and people, when they see you start to try to make something for yourself, they'll want to be like, oh no, you're an asshole, you're doing this, oh, we don't talk to you. Well, it's because I'm trying to better myself. I said, you know what? If you want, I'll show you what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And as I move up, maybe you'll even surpass me, and you'll feel better about yourself. And then something's, not all the time, but sometimes something clicks. Well, what do you mean if I surpass you? I'm doing this. Okay, you're doing that. But you know what? There's 24 hours in the day, more than enough time to get your 8 hours of sleep, your 8 hours of work. You still have 8 hours.
Well, what a lot of people don't do is they don't. So if you start off the week saying, I have so many hours for this, okay? Me, I don't require very much sleep. 5 to 6 hours is great for me. Anything more, is too much. And then I'm more tired the next day, which is weird. But
that happens to me all the time. I still can't understand it.
But if you sit down and you write down, all of your obligations for the week. Okay, I got to work this many hours this day, this day, this day, this day. Okay, so that means I have this many hours left in the day. I have to sleep this many hours. I don't know the exact number, but you can find somewhere up near 60 hours a week, that people are just, whether they're sitting down watching TV, whether they're just, shooting the shit with people on the phone. Again, if you calculate all that and put it into perspective, you might get an idea of how much more time you could be spending on your passion opposed to going to that job that you hate every day.
Yeah.
So
most stuff. It's kind of not to just keep throwing this fitness in there, but everybody, a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't have time for fitness." Really, you
I'm one
got
of
this
those people.
1 hour a day.
I'm
it.
guilty.
You know,
I've been there, done that. It's an excuse.
nothing
Nothing more than an excuse. Because guess what? I could potentially wake up 20 minutes earlier every morning and get my. I could run around the block, and that would probably work wonders for me, which I do plan on doing soon.
Okay.
For the future, I wanna. This podcast is to help build us up as well as building you up at the same time. So, in my mind, I want to improve on all levels of the game.
Mm-hmm.
In order to get to where I want to go and be as successful as I want to be, I feel like I need to step up my game in more than one avenue.
Okay.
And I'm going to take you guys on the ride with me. And when I begin this journey, I'm going to wake up. First thing I'm going to do is maybe take a run or meditate. These are all things I want to do.
Okay.
There's only certain times a day that I can do this stuff because of kids, work. Again, reevaluate your time schedule. You can find time as long as you make that time.
Yes.
It's hard for me to wake up in the morning because I'm a night owl. Hence why we're doing this podcast at almost midnight, burning that midnight oil. Inspiration in a cup. Motivation in a cup.
Vodka.
It's not vodka. But yeah, so by reevaluating your time and finally nailing down what your passion is and what you want your passion to be can be huge. Can be a huge step in obtaining that drive, obtaining that motivation, and to backpedal a little bit. When we were talking about the people that bring you down, that hinder your progress by, expressing their negativity towards your moves, a lot of people take and use that as fuel.
I do.
Yeah.
I need kind of anything that doesn't promote or support what I'm doing. I just use it as full. Oh, you're one more person.
Yeah.
I've got to prove wrong.
Absolutely.
You don't think I can? Watch me.
Absolutely. I mean, how many athletes have you heard, coming up in rough neighborhoods and, their teacher telling them they're never going to amount to nothing because of where they came from or what what they grew up around. And guess what? Those guys all broke through
And excelled.
And majority of them are humble about it.
Yeah.
They you might hear something in a documentary about them saying, telling the stories about this stuff, about the teachers and stuff like that. But, you can be what you want. You can do almost anything. Almost anything is obtainable. Obviously, at certain age, certain goals tend to expire.
Well, I don't know. Watch. I've seen 76-year-old
I mean,
men.
obviously, I can't go out today
Jacked.
and start training for the NFL. I'm almost 40 years old. So there are goals.
Do they have a cap on that?
No, but, I mean, can my 40-year-old ass get out there and run a 4.4?
I don't know. Can you?
Can my 155-pound ass take a
that's-
hit from a linebacker? Can I hit a 230-pound guy?
Well, you can hit him. You might bounce.
I mean, I think I missed that train. But if there are any NFL teams out there that want to sign a pick-me-up guy with heart, I'm right here, baby. I'm right here.
There you go. What was that that one scrappy dude?
Vince Papale, the Disney story?
No, Rudy. Was that Vince?
Yeah.
Was that
no? Those two different guys.
Okay, Rudy.
Yeah, Rudy.
That little dude.
Yeah.
He had the heart.
Yeah, but see, those guys, they took them in and used them as an anchor for motivation for the other guys
because they were the heart.
Yeah, they were the heart of the team.
Oh wait, Vince Papale. Who was that?
Vince Papale was Mark Wahlberg in the Disney flick. It's a very good flick.
Great movie.
I watched that movie
I've seen it about 8 times.
Just before the NFL season kicks off, it gets me all ready for the NFL season. And it's got a great soundtrack. Great soundtrack. I look for that in movies, by the way. So we all possess the ability to be and do what we want. Obviously, like I was saying, some of those goals have expiration dates, but doesn't mean you can't train these guys that are getting ready for the NFL or put yourself in a position to be around an NFL organization. If you have the drive, if you have just that passion for that, and you know, make the goal to be obtained, at least you will be well on your way, because once the goal is set and your mindset is set, your motivation and your drive is up,
and you're good.
You know, sky's the limit.
It is. And at the same time, while you're building yourself up, some people who didn't think you could do it, they may stand and they may ask you, hey, how'd you do that? What did you do to get to where that? And when you show them how easy it is, they'll be like, you know what? If he's doing it, and we have a similar background, obviously, if you're hanging out with the same people, I can do it.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
then at the same time, you just made a friend. Well, even more so, you guys got a little closer, you bonded, and then you challenge each other. Well, what'd you do? Well, I did this. Well, what'd you do? Well, I did this. Well, man, you got even further than me. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you sit there, and it's a little competitive, yes, but it's competitive in a good way.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like lifting weights. You know, when you have a lifting partner, you know, your partner's not always there just to spot you, but to keep you motivated.
Exactly.
Like, hey, you know, if you do it this way, I noticed that, you know, I've gained a little bit more here because I've done it this way. You know,
you better do all those reps.
Yeah.
You better not cheat those reps. Don't cheat yourself. Do that rep.
Absolutely.
Lower the weight, but do the reps.
You know, and everybody also, I don't know, at least I'm a sucker for the underdog story, like Rudy, you know, like Vince Papale.
Yeah.
I love those stories, man. Those stories motivate the crap out of me. I don't know about you, but
it does, because it shows that you can put the work in, and you can rise up instead of just, well, to get somewhere you have to either be lucky, have somebody give it to you, or you have to be born into it. You know, with like people with money or whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, not all skill sets. You're not born with the ability for majority of the skill sets out in this world. Practice. You know, that ties in with motivation. You got to have the motivation to practice to get better at what you're trying to do. Because if you don't, then you're not going to excel. You know, what's that saying?
Which one?
Give me a second.
I'll give you a second.
With it. It's
All right, we're talking about motivation to excel.
Yes, I'll get back to it. So,
okay.
Basically, you know, take chances. Because if you don't, you're never gonna know whether you're gonna succeed at that or not.
Yeah. The worst that can happen when you take a chance, and as they say, if your dreams don't scare you, then you're dreaming too small. You should be. When I first sat down and was thinking this idea, can I make money doing this? Who can I have that could beat a balance? Because I'm at one side. That's the name. You know, so I needed somebody to be on the other side. And I'm thinking, this scares the shit out of me. Normally, because I grew up in a time where you got to work the 40 or 60, wait till you're 45, 50 years old, and then you can enjoy life. No.
Yeah, actually.
Right there. Times have changed. You got to adapt. We got to change. I want to do this. I want to show my family that I can rise above having to work like that. I can put in, you know, however many, 4 or 5 hours a day doing this. If we can get people, and I do apologize, I have not got to the Gmail. If people have sent some questions on the other day, I have not checked it in about 2 weeks. I do apologize. I will get on there. But
do you have an excuse?
No, I just.
That's the best way to go about it.
Don't make excuses. There's no excuse. I just completely
You can say
forgot.
You don't have the time.
No. I make the time because this is important. I just completely. I was so focused on the logo of this and getting the Forge Facebook almost done.
It's not a bad thing that you haven't gotten to it though.
Well, I look at it because I said on one of our episodes, so for me,
it's
I look
not
at it
one of those things that oh crap, the podcast is gonna shit out tomorrow because you didn't get to the emails. We're not quite at that point yet. We don't even know if that many people are even tuning in. We do know that we're almost at 200 views from the last 3 episodes. So thank you if you're supporting us, if you're subscribing. Big thanks. We do appreciate you, and hopefully we get more interaction from you guys. And
I mean, if anything, and you don't, these guys aren't doctors, they don't know what they're talking about. Watch the show. You'll get some laughs.
Yeah,
I know we're gonna throw some.
Well, we're getting looser. If you've noticed over the last few podcasts, we've gotten comfortable. Hey, maybe we will do a show with a little enhancing.
So let me tell you what I know today, huh? Everything is good with vodka.
But yeah, live your life, take chances, be crazy, don't wait, because right now is the oldest you'll ever be and the youngest you'll ever be again. So
what? Hold on. Say that again. No, I got you. Say that again.
Be crazy.
I got that part.
Don't wait.
Yep.
Right now is the oldest you'll be.
Okay.
We're not looking into the future.
Okay. All right. Okay.
We're talking about the now. So it's the oldest you'll be.
Okay.
And the youngest you'll ever be.
Okay.
Again.
Yeah.
Because that ship is set. You know, you're never going to go backwards unless you're Benjamin Button.
No, that would just be weird. Okay. All right.
But,
all right. When you say it like that, yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that kills drive and motivation to some people, not like I said earlier, some people it fuels, but haters.
Yes.
We wanted to touch down about haters today.
We did.
Haters in the building. Yeah, we wanted to touch down about the haters in the building.
Where?
Yeah. There's haters everywhere, man.
There is. But they say
the biggest hater is yourself. Did you know that?
No. How so?
How so? Well, when I don't know about you, but I'm harder on myself than anybody could ever be.
Well, yeah, but I didn't really.
When I go out there
think
and
that is like a.
When I go out there and I put my talent forth,
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably the hardest critic in the room.
Okay, when you say it like that, then yes, I understand what you mean. Okay, yeah,
I'm my biggest hater in a sense. Whether you're able to, work that out of your system or not is a big thing. I've learned over the years that I got to kind of pull back a little bit because, hating on yourself too much can drive you into depression or drive you into losing that motivation. Stop.
You just hold yourself at a higher level than others.
Yeah.
So,
but
not
if
saying
there's
we're
too
better.
much, if there's too much of that, it can bring you down.
It can backfire on you.
So, ease up on yourself a little bit. That can definitely kill drives. But there's haters everywhere, man. Sometimes your best friends could be your biggest haters. I really don't have that experience too much. I have a pretty good support system, even though I don't get to hang out with all my friends like I used to, because now I'm a family man, working man. I would love to find more time to spend with those guys and stuff like that. But I've seen in other situations when someone's thriving and someone's going forward, and you hear the little gossip in the background, or you hear the rumors through the rumor mill, and
he's too good for us now. He's doing this and this.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to make something out of my life.
The biggest haters could come right out of your camp. I mean, I feel we live in our city, Rochester. A lot of people that I know that try to make it out of Rochester, as far as artists and musicians and things like that, they tend to say, our city isn't very supportive of one another. Whether it's their friends or whether it's people that don't want to see them succeed. We don't have too many people, pushing whatever it is that you're trying to do. So I'm a DJ, right? Of course, I got the staple of people that enjoy, the people that come out and listen to me and watch me DJ, and they do the best they can on social media to spread the word, or the company that I work for, everybody tries to spread the word for them and everything, but there's a good staple of people. If I went on to Facebook today, for instance, I went on to Facebook to push our podcast, a little lengthy, someone probably didn't get past the first paragraph and scrolled past it, which is fine. You know, podcasts aren't for everybody.
No.
Again, somebody could look at it as like, what do these two guys got to offer? Until they dip in and find out, they will never know.
This
But
is true.
you got those people that are like, oh, here's this guy again trying to be positive on Facebook, trying to put these quotes up here like he's almighty King Allah.
I've had a few of those.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, those are
Well,
haters.
what do you mean
dude.
this or this? Whatever, dude. I'm not forcing you to listen to it.
Yeah, haters, man. Like,
You know?
and it'd be that person that like someone goes to show their new song to, and they're talking through the whole thing like, dude, I'm trying to show you my new song, and you're trying to tell me about
Your day.
yeah,
What you
like,
bought. No, look. It's not always about you. It's about the grander scheme of things. Not to knock our country in any way. I love my country. But I do notice that a lot of other places, it's always the people, whoever lives, like if you live in a city, it's always for the city. They do what they can to build their city up and then ultimately build their country up. Over here, it's kind of, we're all out for ourselves. It's always just that greed is really taking root.
So I want to state this. I think we all should be out for ourselves, because if you don't fulfill for yourself, then you can't fulfill for someone else. But you mentioned the word greed. So I think that's kind of what you're visualizing, or what you're trying to say is, in our country, the greed that comes along with looking out for one's self. Tons. So, like I said, you go on Facebook. Hey, share my stuff. Get our voice out there. Get plaster us on your Facebook. And then you got the person. Why am I gonna hit share for this?
How's it going to help me?
How's it gonna help me?
Well, they self, it's human decency, though. Hey,
You know how
this
it's gonna
guy's
help
trying
you?
to come up too.
You know how it's gonna help you? That time you hit share for my stuff that I'm trying to push, whatever it is that you're pushing, as long as you're doing it to a high level, and I can vouch for you or refer you to whatever you're doing, I'm gonna do it because you already showed me love, so I'm gonna return that and show you love. And
8+, about 8 billion people on the planet. When no one's going to steal anybody's, I'm not going to steal your fans. You're not going to steal mine. I'm not going to take money from you. It's.
I've got fans.
Well, I think we've got a few. I believe.
Cool.
But
Doesn't make you feel
it just
inside.
kills me that we can't understand. I understand our country is still young. We're still learning. We're, some things that have happened of recently kind of show that some of us act like kids. I got to put that out there.
Well, we're not going to
Yeah,
touch
but
the politics.
that's it.
then.
No. But just how it's not really that. It's just the human decency that I've been starting to notice. Just to bring back.
There's no compassion. There's no empathy anymore.
No, it's everyone's just for themselves.
The fact that people are trying to push their opinions and try and change someone else's thought pattern. So, hey, we're not going to get into politics, but hey, you're left, I'm right.
Yeah.
You're up, I'm down.
Well, like we said with opinions, right?
Yeah.
Like what he's saying, it's DJ has an opinion, I have an opinion. I'm not saying he's wrong, and that's where I think where they get lost. You have your opinion, you say it to me, I say my opinion. That's it. The only reason that we would argue about that, not that healthy debate crap, is because we're trying to force one another's opinions on the other person.
And the thing is you're not going to change your stance. Like, you're engaging into this conversation that turns into an argument, and it's going to remain an argument because you're never going to change your stance. I'm not going to change my stance. You're not going to change your stance. No matter how much, you spew facts or other people's opinions or whatever it is, there's a reason why my opinion's my opinion, because through the years I've built this idea, I've built this thought pattern, I've built this way of thinking, and for someone to come in and tell me a fact or two and think that's going to change my opinion, I mean, I'm open for my opinions to be changed, and I'm not saying that I'm right all the time.
I can be amendable on certain things.
Agree to disagree is big, though.
Yes.
So I have a friend, he's totally engulfed into politics, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He starts talking politics, I'm like, dude, I don't get into that stuff. kiboshed. Like, no more conversation. That's it. No more conversation.
Yeah.
And we turn around and we say, you know what? I appreciate you because you're not going to defriend me for my views. And I say the same thing right back. Like, I'm sorry I'm not a political guy and that, I might not be woke. But, you know what I'm saying? Like,
see, I've heard that, and I understand everybody's going through different things. Maybe it's just the way my mom raised me. I don't need somebody else to tell me somebody else is not equal or equal. If they're a human, they're equal.
Yeah.
That's it. Cut and dry. There's no reason to do anything else because somebody's this. And it's not that I don't look at it as a political thing. No human is different from another human.
No.
We're all the same.
We're all trying to achieve the same thing. I mean, a happy life.
Yes.
Even the most miserable people out there, they want to be happy. They can't. It's hard for them to find a way to be happy.
They don't understand what it is because they've been miserable for so long.
Probably because they never pursued their actual passion. They never pursued, hobbies that can turn into money. They never pursued. Imagine all the people that never even opened the doors to their capabilities. Like, for instance, say, you never touched a guitar in your life. I don't know if that's true or not, but you never touched a guitar in your life. But hey, you pick this thing up and you start strumming. And like, all of a sudden, you increase at this ability. You increase your skill set at a faster rate than most people.
Or find out you're a natural.
Find out you're a natural. Imagine how many people have stuff in their bloodline and just never explore enough to figure out that they even possess this. Could you imagine if instead of school was set up to aim at a certain scholastic level, I mean, a curriculum is basically set up for the end of the year for you to pass that test, right? I mean, obviously it's to pump so much knowledge into you. But can you imagine if the school system was set up to find and target people's tangible
like where they were going to go, where are your skills, where are you going to end up? You're going to be a singer, a rapper, a teacher?
I mean, we have, the opportunity to choose to be in band class or music class or take art class to another level. But there's really no measuring stick for these, whether you chose music next year or not, where's the measuring stick to say that you weren't a natural at that? You know what I mean? We're not going to even attempt to find that, and we're just going to
push this. This is what you got to do. You got to do this.
Yeah, you got to do algebra.
You don't like algebra, do you?
Well, it's easy for me to throw out there because I think everybody, once they're done with algebra, unless you use it in a certain avenue of where it's needed every day, I'd say a good percentage of people don't use it.
Mine was probability. I used to argue in school. P equals Q, but it's greater than R, then what does S mean? And I would argue every math class I had in school. When in the hell am I going to use it? Well, use this never did. No, I don't. You tell me right now. And this is when I was more the trades guy. You tell me when a roofer, a mason, electrician, a plumber, anybody is going to use probability. I've never seen any blueprints. They've got a probability scale. Well, let me see. Let me write this.
I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure it's out there. Just like
but,
algebra is. I'm sure somebody uses it on a daily basis. Some form or. So, what can you do to sidestep these haters? What can you do to not let these haters bother you? We got a cameo. What's up, Pesci?
So, to sidestep haters, me personally, one of my things, I was given a gift. One of them. Somebody can say something constantly, every day, for months, and they're just in, and all I do is laugh. I use it as fuel, put a little memorex. All right, there we go. Woohoo! And I just laugh at people. You'd be amazed when somebody tries to hit you with one thing, and you give a big old hearty laugh, it shuts them right down. Because it's not they were expecting, their animosity or negativity to be hit. Because they want, misery loves company. No. Ha ha ha! Later, bitch. and I go about and I do,
It's like going back to me shutting down the political conversation by saying, "Listen, I don't know nothing about it." So you're
no,
talking.
cut, we're done. No,
We're
cut.
done. That's
Yeah,
it.
you know.
So what I have found out through the years is, you build in silence. Because if you build in silence, people don't know what to attack.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, I'm putting out there, what I'm trying to spread. Listen to my new DJ mix, or, here's my painting pictures from previous jobs.
Yeah.
That's just kind of, hey, this is what I do. I try to do it at a high level.
Yeah, but
I
that's
need
like
some feedback.
a solitary, singular community. You're the painting community.
But on an everyday basis, um, the steps I make towards success, the further I get successful and whatnot, as long as people don't know the steps that it took for me to get there, or if I just keep it on the hush, they don't know how to attack you. They don't know how to throw that negative vibe out to you. If you don't allow it,
Yeah.
To penetrate your thought process, then I feel like, you take bigger strides.
Mm-hmm.
It's not sidestepping them; it's going right past them. You know what I mean? Like running right through the guy. So, yeah.
I've been asked if I was given drugs. I used to work at a place, and every morning they would bust my balls to, try to get underneath the skin. And they asked me, and then they asked my significant other, do you give him drugs before he leaves the house? And she would just laugh, and she would say, "Why?" She goes, "Why?" And they go, "Well, because blah 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 blah." They'd have to tell her why, and she would just laugh. She goes, "Nah, that's just him. You're not gonna get anywhere doing that with him. He doesn't get a rise,
Yeah.
So I'm blessed in that way."
So staying on
Task.
the main subject here, drive. What kills drive? Where do you begin to find motivation for this drive? I find a lot of people don't ever get their foot off the ground because it's easier to complain. It's easier to bitch, and it's easier not to make that move. So
Stay complacent.
That's right where their drive sits.
Mm-hmm.
They're in neutral. They're not even.
That's not good. They're in reverse a lot of times too.
So you got to steer away from people that make excuses.
Yeah.
You got to surround yourself with the people who, right before they go to make the excuse, they stop themselves and talk themselves. Oh, it's my fault. They own it. You own whatever reason it is that you didn't get what you wanted to get done today. You got to own that.
Yeah.
And then, sidestep the excuse and just get back on pattern.
Just get right back up. Just focus. All right. So I had a little setback. Well, that goes with Franklin. They say that he tried to make that light bulb 10,000 times, and it wasn't until the 10,001st time that it went, and it went on.
Are we going to use this example every episode?
Did we use it last episode?
Yeah.
I got so many different things in there. It's right. Did I say that?
That's why I started writing stuff down. Look, people, I got notes.
I have to. Well, see, I look at it too. All right, there was a while ago, before my job I got into the security business. I knew I worked 5 days a week, and then I had 2 days off.
Okay.
This is when it started. And I was a few 3, 4, maybe 6 years ago. I stopped caring what day it was. I knew I worked for 5 days, then I had 2 off, then I'd start the whole process again. Well, I stopped. When I got into the security gig, you'd work this day or this day. Okay, I just would mark it down. So when I wake up, I know what I have to do. I don't care what day it is. My significant other, if I have something to do, she's the calendar. If we got something important, she reminds me. Okay, cool. Honey, we could do that. Other than that, I wake up, okay. What's my goal today?
I can say that I'm honestly at that point. Going back to, I think the quote 2 episodes ago was, not to kick and drag your way through the day, to own it, to,
Yeah, the one with the monk.
Yeah. I love monks, dude. I love
monks. Monks are awesome.
Yeah, they are. They
You
take
know,
kicks to the nuts and keep going.
or they drag rocks.
They actually drag it through the day.
Yeah, that's
no, but to go back to that, for me to stop kicking and dragging through the day was the day that I found podcasts.
okay.
I did it. I've been a painter for 20 years. I mean, some days easier than others. Some days I wanted to go home as soon as I got there.
Mm-hmm.
Some days I didn't want to go home right away. I had the drive, the motivation to keep wanting to work those extra hours or get that job done. But at this point, I get up in the morning and I'm like, oh, cool, I'm going to work. I get to listen to more podcasts. It's not that I don't want to be at home.
Mm-hmm.
I found something to get me through that day, and my days go quicker. Monday through Friday is like a blink of the eye now. Almost on Saturdays and Sundays when I'm not working, I'm like, dang, I gotta find some time to listen to my favorite podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I let them accumulate for the week, so I have a lot of content to listen to, and I'm constantly searching for new content. But that has like changed my whole landscape for going to work. Like,
I think
I do not piss and moan anymore.
that's what they would call an brain. That's like an entrepreneurial bug.
Mm-hmm.
When you realize that I actually enjoy this, or you switch to push along like what we're doing now. I've heard people say they hate the weekends because Monday through Friday, that's when they make money. The weekends, you can't do nothing.
Working for the weekend.
Yeah.
Not in my case.
But if you're set for I live for the weekends, you gotta change some things.
Yeah. And a lot of the times people are like, oh, I can't wait to the weekend. I can't wait to the weekend. Think of all the moments in time. Remember we were talking about all the extra time that you might have in a day, but you just don't add it up, so you don't even know it exists. Imagine all that time that those people are wasting in between Monday and Friday, wishing that the weekend would come earlier. So what? They can lay in bed and sleep off.
All those opportunities that could have were there, but they weren't there. I have a running tally. Right now, I'm at 21 people that have tried to give me reasons why they can't do, we'll say about 3 to 5 things, and I've been able to crush, and I mean crush, like Hulk smash.
Well, you're killing the excuses.
Every excuse that they come up with why they can't do something.
If I were to ask you, this was a statistic, I don't know if it's factual or if this is just a roundabout,
a broad
ballpark, broad perspective. 8 out of 10 people say what for an excuse? What's their excuse?
For anything?
Not getting something done, not going out and pursuing their passion. What excuse would you be given for somebody not showing up to do something?
I would either have to say that they didn't have the time. I would say kids.
That's a good one. Actually, this is probably just a roundabout. I'm sure it's not factual unless there's a study somewhere. But these are all probably fall under the same, idea, the same excuse pattern. Kids, definitely. I mean, you can use it as an excuse, but there's also time where you do, as long as you have someone responsible enough to take care of your children, you can find time at,
Yeah.
Tonight I was supposed to do an event. It wasn't an event. I was supposed to just lay down a 15-minute set for an online, for all the online clients that may or may not be willing to go with a company for DJing. I couldn't make it due to my babysitter's emergency. It killed me inside that I could not. It's a missed opportunity. What opportunity did I miss? Playing music for 15 minutes? I've done that so many times. The opportunity that I missed were people to see me that haven't seen me before. And I apologized over and over and over. And they were like, don't apologize. We'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah.
But, again, I'm my harshest critic. So I'm like, damn, all that missed opportunity. Like,
yeah.
It could be anybody out there, just watching DJs. It could be anybody out there. Anybody.
Don't you hate when then some people say, oh, a lot of people do that. I don't care about a lot of people. This is me. I'm not saying I'm better. I just hold myself to a higher standard
Same here. Same
than
here.
others would hold it, you know?
Yeah.
And people think, oh, you're just better than... No, I'm not.
No.
We're all human.
Don't you hate when I mean, I'm sure everybody and their mother
Love everybody and your mama.
in either a current relationship or a past relationship has had a significant other or said it themselves, you know, oh, you're Mr. Perfect or you're Mrs. Perfect. I hate that. It's going back to pet peeves like from an episode ago. That is, now that I think about it, I have more pet peeves than I thought I had. I'm not trying to be perfect by any means. Like, there's no scale whether I'm better than an individual. And this has happened in many relationships, or not even just, you know, guy girl, or, you know, whatever your relationship status is, friendships, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just Mr. Perfect, you know it all, or you know. No, man.
I think some of those people, though, with what you're saying, and if you think back, I mean, sometimes we just blow over it. You're just like, whatever. They're your haters. They see you trying to better yourself, and either you're not bringing them with you, which I can't. I think that's kind of a pet for you. If you expect me just because I raise up to just come and jump it because we're friends and you didn't do shit, no. Now, if you help me along and we're working side by side, or you throw, you know what, I'm gonna bring this guy with me because I've been going to him. You know, if I have an idea or I have something, I just need somebody to be devil's advocate or whatnot. So we bounce the ideas back. He's coming. But if you expect something, like what do they say when you win the lotto? You're gonna have friends and family that you don't talk to.
Cousins that you haven't never met.
Yeah.
At your front door. That's happened to me the opposite, where I wanted to take people with me, but they didn't want to come for the ride. So me and my friends are always really into music.
Okay.
Hence why I'm a DJ. And, you know, I was like, hey, I'm going to be this DJ. I'm going to, you know, I'm going to get out there. I'm going to go places where we've never been before, and I want to take you guys with me. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, rah, 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 let's do it, you know. And then they see all the work that goes into it, and they're just like, yeah, it's not for me. I had to tell myself, like,
no.
So ultimately, they seen all the work and what it took to get there, and I was like, hey, man, I really want to, you know, maybe one day we can have our own business, and I can teach you everything I learned to get where I wanted to go, and it just went dry, like,
They just
But I was able to
Why do you think that is, though?
Because it's not their passion. So this is what I was just going to get into. It's not their passion. Because it was my passion.
Okay.
And I just wanted to take them along for the ride with me.
And they thought they were just going to get, like, free things because, my buddy's doing it.
Yeah, there was nothing to do with them wanting something in return. It was me wanting to bring them with me.
Okay.
To experience the things that I've done, or to see how far along I've come.
Yeah.
To show them the crowd, you know, to get them to learn the skill set that I've learned by teaching them. But, you know, it's not their passion, so they didn't follow suit. And I never held them accountable. So what I think is smart on the other end of the spectrum, when you have those friends that expect you to take them with you, you got to remember it's not your passion for you to take them with you, because you put all the hard work in, and you're not just going to give them that free to go, you know,
my success isn't their
free
success.
to pass go, you know, card. So.
I've had a few instances where there's been things I've done, and I've reached a certain thing in doing whatever this focus is, and I've had people that were working with me, and always along the way, you're going to hit things, and you're going to see other things that are, you know, like with DJ, you can be the DJ where you're making people dance. Here comes so-and-so, blah, blah, yeah, shots. And then there's those that turn into where they want to plan the events, not be the DJ, but they'd rather do the calls. Hey, you need a DJ. Hey, you need like that to schedule the events and everything. Yeah. And they can turn that around where they're known as, that's the party guy. You want a DJ, he'll get him there, and he knows his stuff. Yeah. You know, they want to go the same path as you, but just take a different, a different approach to this. I'll be in the same field, but I want to plan the parties.
That's where I'm at in the DJ world. I mean, everybody wants to own their own business, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as DJing goes, I just want to DJ, man. Like, I just want that.
I just want the tunes, baby.
No, it's not even about that. It's almost so everybody gets adrenaline rushes. You're doing different things.
Okay.
It's an adrenaline rush to me. When I can take a whole room of different demographic people and put them all on the dance floor and have the night of their lives, I'm lifting these people up. They're having a good time.
You're seeing
They're
that.
happy.
Yeah, and you're feeding
that
off
whole
that high.
vibe. It's not just the music. I mean, the music, obviously, music affects everybody to a certain extent. But to see them, to concoct this recipe and like a chef, taking all the ingredients and making that one meal for everybody in the room to enjoy simultaneously is the biggest rush I get out of DJing.
Okay.
I mean, I've gotten goosebumps, like,
Well, that's a good thing.
and that's where, remember in a past episode we were talking about you need to celebrate your achievements. It's not like you're blowing your ego up or you're blowing your head up, but at that point I celebrate achievements. Like when I feel that hair go up on my arms and I feel a sense of achievement, like, yeah, this is what I always wanted to do.
This
I'm
is
doing it. Like,
he took a risk. He was afraid, but he took a risk. He had support. He was pushed.
I'm afraid every time I step out on that dance floor, or that, behind the DJ table, because you never know who's in that crowd. You never know if there's, Steve Aoki or DJ Khaled's out in that crowd. You never know, and your skill set might not be up to their standards. And then they just are in your ear the whole night, like.
Or they could be.
Or there's that always.
Looking.
There's always that. Yeah, that too.
And they like that.
And there's always that like one drunk guy, because you're not playing his song. He's in your ear all night long, and he's just like, dude, you're like, why are you? You don't even know how to DJ. Like, why aren't you playing my song? And I'm like, dude, because if I play that song, nobody's gonna dance.
Yeah.
And I've done this before. I've put it to the test where I knew the song was going to clear the dance floor. And because the guy was not leaving me alone so bad, like, I mean, this guy was on my back. Like, I was like, dude, you want your song? I'll mix your song in. Played it. Dance floor empty. I'm like, are you happy now? You killed my dance floor. I wasn't a jerk about it. I go.
But that's funny. You killed my dance floor.
I didn't say it.
Oh,
I gave him a look.
No,
I couldn't. No, because when you're out there and you're representing somebody else.
Yes. I understand that.
You have to be professional. In that line of business, you have to have tough skin. That was the very first thing I learned in DJing, is you have to have tough skin. Because no matter what room you're in, you're not going to satisfy everybody.
No.
There's going to be that heavy metal guy in the corner who's like, what is this shit? I like big butts. What is this shit? Like...
Where is the crazy train?
Or you're going to have the old people like, I want to slow dance. What's going on? I want to dance with my husband. I'm 7 years old. I want to go home.
Staying alive.
Yeah. But I've taken all these complaints and I've turned it into this recipe that works. And when I plan with couples about their weddings or their events, I'm like, hey, man, I'm just going to pitch this idea to you because I know it works and it's worked 1,000 times.
Yep.
If you let me run the night like this and, I'm going to play your music that you want. But if you let me run the night like this, I have a recipe for success for a successful dance floor.
Oh, I like that. Recipe for success. That's good.
So, to backtrack, because we got way off subject, the one thing
really, we stayed motivated. You always got to look for a way, but...
a couple, to digress back a few things that we were talking about, I was talking about excuses. And what's that one excuse?
Yes.
Out of 10 people... They say it's easier said than done.
Yeah, no,
I've
heard that.
Hey, why don't you get out of that shit job that you fucking hate so bad?
I think I've even used that a couple times before when I was younger.
I got bills I gotta pay. It's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Well, if you are going to work every day or in a shitty mood and you're miserable every day, what is that doing for you? Nothing. You go out and find something that you love doing, even if you're working that job still. Find that one thing you love to do, get your feet wet. Maybe look at all your bills and reassess your bills and say, hey, I don't need this right now. Live within the means for once in your life, because I think a good percentage of Americans don't live within their means. They always got to have the Netflix. They always got to have the Disney Plus, and they have all these things, and they're essentially there to waste their time, what they could be doing to pursue what they actually are happy doing.
It's funny that you should mention that. I've not published, but I have wrote a book, and it's a funny thing because the name of my book is called Forge. It's a different outlook on life. It was kind of the catalyst for the podcast before I came to Ray. But I've been told that I should write another book. It's called How to Live on $20 a Month.
You were telling me about this. Yeah.
But I didn't actually live $20 an hour.
Yeah.
But I lived so well, but be below my means. I still had everything I wanted. I had fun, saw movies, I ate. I almost want to say I took the minimalist approach to things, but I didn't want for anything. Dude, I ate all 3 meals a day and a snack.
So there's that saying, what is it? Little is more. A little,
A little can go a long way. Less is more.
Less is more.
Less is more.
There you go.
Yep.
So less is more. A lot of these successful people that you hear talking, motivational speakers, they all tell you to get rid of possessions, to get rid of the materialistic things in your life. Simplify your life. Less is more. The less that you have to maintain, the less that you have to take care of, the more time you can allocate towards shaping and forging that new you. And I believe that if you can create that as a mindset, if you can really, declutter your life, you can make room for a lot more, room for more success.
I agree. But I think we're a little hard with that because we have grown now more. I mean, when we were growing up,
to be materialistic.
Yes, it's
a certain social status or a certain stature that you place yourself in. I mean,
things that people don't do. We were watching a medieval show the other day on the Netflix, and my son goes, "Dad, what are they doing?" And they were, everybody was drinking. They were eating, not like at a bar. It was at a family get together, whatnot. And you had people like over here. They were singing and dancing. You had like the old man in a corner, and he was telling a story about an adventure. He's like, "What are they doing?" I go, "That's how they had fun back then. It wasn't all just, let me glue to my phone and, oh yeah, look at this. Let me watch other people."
Well, I was listening to Joe Rogan Experience, and Kevin Hart was the guest, and
that had been hilarious.
It was hilarious at the same time. He had a lot of insightful things to say.
Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin himself.
Yeah.
Those two together were like peanut butter and jelly, though. Let me tell you, it was harmony to my ears, like, because they're both comedy guys.
Yeah.
But they both have many success stories.
They meshed well.
And Kevin Hart was saying, because he was in a near-death accident. Where
yes, I remember that.
Screwed up. And,
I believe they almost said he might not walk again.
Yeah.
But he put the work in.
And he was telling that story about that and how he lied to the hospital. They asked, "How are you today?" He was in the hospital for like 13 days already at this point. And he wanted to get the hell out of there. Because he noticed that everything around him did not matter in that place. The only things that mattered to him were at home.
Yeah.
And when he pulled up at his house, hopped out and stood up in his driveway, he says he bawled out like he just lost it. Like he called it seeing the light. When you get that close to seeing the light, then
realizing what's important.
Then you realize what's really important. If we can all do that without having to almost see that light,
or go through that traumatic event.
Yeah. And he went on to say, that changed a lot of stuff in my life. He was like, here I am doing all this corny stuff now, like Taco Tuesday and, and playing games with the kids and, you know, all that stuff that we write off, you know, the stuff that we don't have time for because we want to, you know, I'm guilty of this, you know. We don't have time to sit down and play a board game because I want time to myself. I've said that to my kid before. And now, after listening to somebody so successful that has everything say that, it kind of like kicked me in the ass today.
Okay.
Like,
you start to rethink.
Yeah.
See, I get on my video games like that when the kids are asleep or when it's time for bed.
Yeah. Well,
if
that's where I'm at. That's why it's so hard for me to wake up in that 20 minutes extra in the morning and run around the block that I want to do. You know, I want to get up and run around the block every morning.
I do it at night.
But I'm a night owl, so
that's why I do it at night. But you put the kids to bed, you work out for you 45 minutes.
Here's my excuse. I don't want to run at night. I want to play video games. I want to play Madden. It's an excuse.
There you go.
All right. So, back to people saying easier said than done. Not a single return in life falls in your lap. Nothing is easily obtained unless you put 100% effort in 100% of the time. Chances are you're not going to peak. You're not going to get anywhere. You know, if you're going to sit there and you're going to talk about, you know, it's easier said than done. So for you to say easier said than done is just another excuse. Stop making excuses. You know, instead of making an excuse, I do it. We all do it every day. I mean, there's some excuse somewhere to be made, whether it's a fabricated lie to divert whoever you're trying to tell to... We got dogs running around. That's what his face was for, by the way. But we all do it to an extent. If we can stop ourselves from doing it so much, catch ourselves every time we're going to make an excuse and turn that into the motivation that we are looking for, that's a good place to start.
Yeah. Use it as fuel.
Every time that you're going to make an excuse for something, whether it be, you know, I mean, obviously we're going to make excuses because we don't want to go help our friends move, or nobody ever wants to help somebody move, right? So they make excuses.
I don't know. I get called a lot for that, to help people move. Oh, Brendan, I need...
Because you're a big guy.
I'm going to lift this couch.
You're the sexy
Are you going to help? Are you going to help? Or am I going to lift up the couch? And you're going to stand there and go, oh, yeah, you got that. Yeah, so, we're strong.
Don't fabricate excuses to hinder your happiness. You know what I mean? Non-legit excuses all have solutions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do.
So, yeah. I remember earlier in the podcast I was trying to, you know, what's that? How do they say that? Or what's that saying? It dawned on me. So, thought without actions is, thought without actions, how does that go? Vision without action is merely a dream.
What you're trying to say, I heard it 3 days ago.
Vision without action is merely a dream.
Okay, not that
Action without vision just passes time.
I don't think I've heard that one before.
It probably falls in the same...
Okay.
I put a twist on the word, so that's probably why you didn't hear that one.
Okay.
I usually generally do that.
So you don't want to plagiarize?
Yeah. Well, not only that, it's not plagiarizing, it's spinning it into how I see it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because perspective is different for everybody. That's why we That's why we do the quote thing.
Yeah.
Because I like to hear what your perception on that is. What maybe a metaphor that you took out of it that I didn't.
How do you see that?
There was like a first, the first time we did that segment. You seen it as a different thing, and I seen it as a whole nother thing. I used a metaphor. You took it for what it meant and stood for. I took it as a metaphor, and I twisted it, and you're like, oh, yeah. It had something to do with Forge, you know, the hammer and whatever we were talking about then. But, yeah. So what do you think?
I think we pretty much we covered everything about staying motivated. That you're not... And a reason I hit Ray up and I was like, I think we should do one of these, is because the way I perceive things, you don't... I've heard a lot of other people say, oh, you're going to lose the motivation, but you have the discipline. No, you're not going to lose the motivation.
No.
You're going to get upset with yourself because, like Ray said before, you set this huge goal, and I'm nowhere near it. No, that's why.
That's
You
usually
set the
why a lot
little-
of motivation stalls out, because
yeah.
people are looking at that goal.
Yeah.
And
I
they
didn't
never
make it yet.
set
It's
sub
been a
goals.
week.
They never set
Yeah.
sub goals. Well, that's the whole New Year's resolution thing. How many people say, "Oh, I'm gonna go get buff this year," and like
Yeah.
3 weeks into January are done. Why can't we pick any?
3, you're being nice.
Yeah, I
It's
am.
usually a week.
It's usually when
A week.
Yeah,
I went to the gym twice this
you work
week.
off the
Dog.
holiday meal and it's over.
Yeah.
But why can't we do this all year round? Why does it got to be that one time a year that you got to set that highly, maybe unattainable goal?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it might take a full year for you to obtain that goal.
That's true. Or a couple years.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to take that goal and put it on the back burner and take the little necessary steps, the stepping stones to get to that goal. So, number one thing to keep motivation going, stop with the excuses.
Yeah.
Number two, start writing stuff down. Make lists. This is something I got to do. I'm starting to...
3 things a week that you want to accomplish. Start there.
And
That's real simple.
And
3 things.
one of those 3 things could be making a list of these things that you want to do. That's one thing out of the way.
It is. It is. It is.
I mean, a lot of the time, you know, when people don't want to go to work, getting there is harder than actually doing the work.
Yeah.
Because once they get there, they go through the
You're there.
motions, the day's over, their mind's moving in whatever direction they have to do the job that they're doing, and the day's over with. It was harder to get to work than it was to actually get through the day of work.
Yeah.
That's happened to me before. I mean, I don't know about you, but, you know, dreading doing something when I was sick, or, you know, half of the battle was getting up and getting out and doing it.
Yeah. And you're not trying at the same time. Look, you can look at it like this. You know, I didn't reach this, I didn't reach that. You know what? Start this way. Start it like this, okay? Here's what I want you to do. You go home, write down 3 things you want to accomplish, okay? And there you go. You wrote it down. Manifest. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I know that's a little. What do they call it? Easter egg. A future podcast manifesting. But don't try to get to where you want to be in that week. Monday, wake up, do whatever you got to do. Tuesday, wake up, be better, do one more thing extra than what you did on Monday.
Well, it goes back to that. You know, you make your bed when you get out of bed. Something was accomplished. So you did something that day. You already accomplished something. You already achieved something. Then the next step, I say, spend that 20 minutes, that half hour to do what you need to do in the morning to make you feel good. Like you say, The Rock, he does his lifting in the morning.
That's his anchor.
It gets him motivated for the day. You know, I tend to usually, which I want to try and change, because it's something I always want to do. I want to meditate somewhere. I want to get meditation in. I believe, from what I read and from what I hear, that it works wonders. And
It does.
I want to take that 20 minutes in the morning when no one's awake yet to try and achieve this goal, to meditate. And my dog wants to leave a little imprint on this podcast. Keep it rolling.
All right.
We'll keep it rolling. Pesci! So what I usually do in the morning is I wake up, I make my cup of coffee, I brush my teeth, I make my coffee, I watch Sports Center, or I watch, 20 minutes of something, whatever the flavor of the morning is for me.
Okay.
And, I want to change that. So now I want to accomplish 2-3 things before my day starts.
Okay.
If you can keep making that list bigger and bigger and bigger, it goes back to, you went from dragging through the week to now the week goes so fast, I don't know what day it is because I'm working so hard, or I'm happy with what I'm doing.
I don't care what day it is.
Because you do so many things that lead up to it, and it makes your day go faster. You have a sense of more accomplishment. You get more motivation. You get more. You just build yourself up. You build more confidence in yourself.
It turns into that you're not really doing a lot because it's just natural. You make your bed when you're done. It's like you brush your teeth, you go pee every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do a lot. What'd you do? Oh, all I did was this.
And
actually, you did all of
those
this.
were things that were, burnt into our daily routine.
Mm-hmm. Those little things. Yay, I made my bed.
Yeah.
For the 8th day in a row. Wow.
Those are things that you should be doing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But find the 5 minutes in between each one of those things to do something else.
Yeah.
Whether it be, pick up your kid's mess so that your significant other doesn't have to do it while you're at work. Relieve their stress a little bit for the day. Because relieving someone else's stress that's around you, just that tad little bit might relieve your stress for the day, because you're not going to come home to the person that's all stressed out because, hey, you did a good deed, you accomplished something, you got something done for them.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be something that you do for yourself all the time, because let's face it, sometimes...
Well, that kind of is sort of for you, because you're taking away from them.
But it is. That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah.
Sorry,
okay.
No, that's okay.
All right.
So we're getting to the point where now we're reading each other's mind. We're getting further into this.
I'm going to play the lotto.
So make lists, write it down, because if you could visually value your goal, I think that you're more apt to flourish.
You're throwing Easter eggs at him again. Here's an Easter egg in your face. Why don't you hit us with that? This week's.
Why don't you hit him with the email?
Yes. Choose Your Destiny 2.0 at gmail.com.
Now, this isn't the quote that I wanted to say today. This is just something I wanted to say.
Okay.
It is quoting somebody,
yeah,
but this isn't the quote of the week.
This isn't the quote of the week. Okay.
I meant to get it in there earlier. Excellence is to do a common thing in an uncommon way.
Okay. You gonna hit them with who said that?
Booker T. Washington.
There you go.
When I explained it to him earlier, I was like, yeah, Booker T said that. He's like, you mean like the wrestler? And I was like, no, but that would be pretty damn cool.
That would be hilarious.
I'm a big wrestling mark, so
okay.
Any of you podcast listeners out there want to hit me in my DMs about some wrestling, we can talk wrestling shop all day. It's something I grew up on, something that I gained motivation out of watching these guys, because it took them a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get the physiques, the mentality to play characters. Like, I look at it a whole different way as I used to look at wrestling. Before, when I was younger, I believed it was real, and I was looking at it for the entertainment value. Now I look at it as like, I'm an entertainer. These guys, you can tell whether they shit the bed or they make it, like The Rock.
Yeah.
So you can tell that some people never smelled what The Rock was cooking, and it shows. That makes any sense. But, let me find the quote of the day.
Find the quote of the day.
Hit him with the email address one more time, because you can never stop bashing it into their heads.
No, you can't, because it's Choose Your Destiny 2.0 at gmail.com. And I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning after I've already published this. And
I'm going to make your bed?
I make my bed. And I'm going to look at the Gmail, and I'm going to answer any questions, or I may not answer them directly in an email. I might hit them and even shout you out on the podcast. Especially once we get this rolling, and we go live. Woo!
All right.
Okay, here it is.
So, to quote one of my role models, if anybody knows me, they know Bruce Lee is the man.
Yes.
Bruce Lee is not will only kick your ass. That motherfucker will lift you out of your seat and get you motivated for the day.
Oh, yeah.
So here we go. Use no way as way. When there is a way, therein lies the limitation. And when there is a circumference, it traps. And if it traps, it rots. If it rots, it's lifeless.
Well, that's a mouthful.
We'll say it twice next week when we go over it, because it's
a lot.
It's pretty straightforward, but there's a lot to take out of that. Obviously, we can get that to next week.
Yeah.
That is your motivational, inspirational quote of the week. We will see you next week. I hope you guys had a good time. I hope we give you a lot of food for thought this week.
Yeah.
And we especially want to thank those who are viewing. and who are subscribing. We have 11
Yes,
subscribers.
thank you.
That
Yes.
is a goal. We have 11 subscribers. Our goal was to get one. We got 11. Our goal was to get one view. We're up near 200. So keep viewing.
Keep
You
watching.
know, if you can't email, right under the YouTube video, you can put comments.
Yeah.
Ask your questions there. You know, just give us some feedback, man. Like, we're here for you guys, and as much as we want you guys to be here for us, we want to lift you guys up. We want to be lifted up. It's all improving ourselves. So,
I'm good.
we'll see you next week.
All
see
right.
you next
This
week, Wild
is
Man.
the Wild Man, and
DJ Tiano. Peace
See you
out,
next
man.
week.
Have a good week.
later.